This is the Leo Climaco Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Leo Climaco Podcast. I'm your host, Leo. Today, we have two real estate moguls. And I'm going to say that because it's going to happen. I'm just going to put it out there in the ether. Aaron, Abbadie, and Johnjon Gonzalez. Welcome, guys.
Thank you for having us, man. Super happy to be here.
I am so happy you guys are here.
Appreciate the invite, my man.
Thank you, John. John.
So nice. You got to say it twice.
Exactly. I love that. That's right. So, John, you and I have known each other for a little bit, a few years through J Monopoly, and I'm very proud of you, of your path, and where you're heading, and what you've accomplished. I love seeing your growth, and I'm glad to see that you've joined forces with somebody that's as intelligent as you, as driven as you, as devoted to the mission that you're trying to accomplish. You know what I mean? I can feel the energy between you guys. I can see the unity. I can see that you guys complement each other, and I can see that you guys are gonna fucking kill it. I really do.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've actually known each other since we were in diapers.
Okay.
So
Yep.
Way back.
yeah, my mom's his mom's best friend, and my dad's his dad's best friend. So
Got it.
it was kind of like an arranged marriage.
A lot of
so to
double dates
speak.
happening.
Yeah, this was arranged since we were kids. So
If one of you were females, you'd probably be married right now.
Yeah, our parents were tearing it up in Miami in the 80s and 90s, and we came to fruition, and we've been best friends, pretty much as long as I can remember. So
That's awesome.
we've been talking about partnering up for many years, but we finally got to a point where it developed enough, and like you said, devoted to the mission, where we thought it was a good idea to finally partner up.
Why do you think both of you went into real estate?
well, he started first, so I'll let him go into his because mine has to do a little bit with his. So
Yeah, so I got into real estate really for the uncapped income potential, right?
Okay.
Like I always knew that it doesn't take an hour to make $20. It doesn't take an hour to make $40,
No.
right? You can determine your own income,
Yeah.
and performance-based income, performance-based sales has always kind of spoke to me. Sales has been in my family as long as I could remember, and nobody was doing real estate. I was in college, and I was working at Best Buy. That's where I might get my tech background from, right? Because
Okay.
I really love tech, and I'm the tech guy in this relationship for sure. But he's the charming personality and pretty smile. But yeah, I started working in tech. I can say Best Buy, home theater.
You have a nice smile too, Aaron.
Thank you. And yeah, I did a year there. It wasn't for me when it came to give me a raise. They gave me like a 25-cent raise. I was like, I'm out.
Fuck
this
that.
is not for me. And ended up selling real estate first as an inside sales agent. So I was making calls, setting appointments for agents to go on those appointments. And one day I set so many appointments, there were no agents left. So I just had to go on the appointment myself.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Because that's a nice fancy name. You were really basically an assistant.
An inside sales agent.
No, I understand.
Yeah. Sure.
I get the title that you were trying to portray, but that's really being an agent's, it's like being
A junior agent.
Got it. So it's basically like being, what's it called, to a paralegal to a lawyer.
Sure, but less admin work and more lead generation focus. So I'm not sitting there getting stuff signed. I'm not pushing paperwork. I'm literally hitting the phones, appointments, contacts, calls. Like those were my KPIs.
Got it. And that,
Open the door
okay.
to real estate. And my first deal I got in my first 90 days, I made $4,000 on an expired listing that I set up, and the team leader went on the appointment with me, closed it. When we finally sold the property and closed on the property, it was probably my first 4 to 6 months until we actually got to the closing table. I made like $4,500. I was like, wow, like I'm making way more money than any of my friends are with one deal. What if I did this 2, 3, 4, 5 times a month? So that is what opened my mind, expanded my mind to all the possibilities in real estate. And it was that moment that I knew, this is for me. This is the route that I want to go.
It took you how long to get to that point? To your first deal?
To my first deal, closing on that first deal, like 4 months, 4 or 5 months.
That's pretty quick.
Yeah,
In
I would say so.
In like relative terms. You know?
Relative terms, right?
Yeah, it's
Relative.
pretty cool.
Everything is relative. So
For
this
sure.
was 2016, 2017, right? I was 19 years old.
Wow.
And knew nothing about nothing, right? I was just in school, really getting to know myself, rushing a fraternity, stuff like that. But I took my job very seriously, took school very seriously. And yeah, the rest is history.
So you made your first deal at 19, $4,500, and that gave you the taste that you needed to skyrocket.
100%.
Where do you come in?
So I'm a little bit younger than him. I'm about 2 years younger. So
How old are you guys?
28.
28, 26.
26.
Okay.
Right. So, again, like I said, I've known him my whole life. We've stayed in touch. He lived in Orlando for 10 years, but that didn't stop. Like, whenever I went to Orlando, I was staying at his place. Whenever he was in Miami, he was staying at my place. So
Got it.
whenever we were in the same zip code, we were together, right?
Are you from Orlando, Aaron?
From Miami.
From Miami originally. Okay.
Yeah.
But you
Born in
moved to
Miami.
Orlando eventually.
Born in Mercy Hospital.
Okay.
Yeah.
When'd you move to Orlando?
When I was about 18, right out of high school, UCF was the only school I applied to.
Got it. So
'cause
you
I
went to
wanted
school in
stay tuition.
Orlando.
Yeah, I went to university in Orlando. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Right. So he was going to college, right? And that's kind of when he started getting his license. Like you said, he was 19.
Right.
I
I was
moved
17.
downtown. I was already kind of in it.
Yeah. So I was 17 at the time. And I'm like, yo, what are you doing? How are you making money? You're living on your own now, all this stuff.
Like,
And
bro,
then
hook
he
me
started,
up.
he started, and he was like, yo, this is what I do. This is what I'm making. And I was like, damn, like, that sounds pretty good, right? And again, we're young kids. We don't know anything.
Yeah, you were 17.
Yeah, I was 17 at the time. So, and the salary that he was, or, the money that he was making was the salary that my stepfather was making that was supporting a family of like 5 or 6.
Wow.
Right? All on his own. So I was
How
like,
many siblings you got?
it's me, my older brother, older sister. My mom is a housewife. And then we also lived with my grandma and my grandpa. So a family of 6 plus himself.
Wow.
He was taken care of on a $60,000 salary. Again, this is, 8-10 years ago.
It's a good man.
But I'm great man.
Yeah, we
best,
love Alan.
Best,
It's a good man.
best stepfather I could ever have. So, and I'm like, okay, so you're a single college kid making what, my stepfather supporting this whole household. And I was like, all right, I want to do that. So then I got into that. Wasn't very successful at the beginning because he was on a team and they were like guiding him, like do A, B, C, D, so you
Right.
can get to E.
Right.
It was more like for me, it was, hey, here's your license, like good luck. So I never had that guidance. I never had that mentorship that he had. So I, not being so successful, I went into college. Even though I was going to college already at the time, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna like actually do this college thing. I went to, university after my 2 years at Miami-Dade.
FIU.
I went to FIU. I went to Florida International University right here from my Miami and FIU people. I got my business marketing degree.
Okay.
And a year before that, COVID hit. And I was like, okay, it was back when like everyone's like, oh, it's going to be 2 weeks. So, we got, let out of school, no class, but we're college kids. We're in the fraternity. We're like, 2 weeks, man, we're going to keep the party going. We
Right.
could do houses, we could do this.
Right.
Then it turned into 2 months. And then we're like, man, like, Miami didn't really close down like that until later on that it was
Right.
like, okay, this is serious. So when it got to that point that it was like, okay, all the partying and, all the college life is over, even though I still had another semester, I was like, okay, what am I going to do?
The music stopped.
Right? So I was like, what am I going to do? I'm going to have this degree set on a wall and not do anything. Like, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. Like, I'm not going direct into a profession. So I was like, okay,
Right.
I got this real estate license. Let me see what I could shake with it. And that was 2021. And I didn't do much. I don't think I was fully in it. I maybe sold like 2 houses 2021. Only made like 30 grand. And then catapulted into like 2022, making my first 6 figures in the first quarter of 2022.
Wow.
So that was like my big like wake up call. Like,
Yeah.
you're here. You have arrived. You made more in 3 months than anyone in your family's ever made, ever in their lifetime. I was like, okay, like this is it. And then that's really when me and real estate, haven't
Took off.
stopped. Yeah.
And similar to his story, COVID was that defining moment where I stopped treating it like a high-paying job and started treating it like a business, right? It was during that lockdown period that I moved back home. We really didn't know how we were going to navigate showing property with masks, not shaking hands, fist
Right.
bump, like all of those
Zoom.
different things.
Remember all that?
That was all like crazy, right? And the market's changing every day still, right? A bunch of new regulations and agreements and stuff. But during that time, I was like reading all the Tony Robbins, a bunch of, personal
Building
development
yourself.
books, building myself
Yeah.
up. I took a picture with a book, stack of books like this that I read during that COVID period.
Smart.
And then that's when I moved back to Orlando, really started diving in on, I became a triathlete. So I started running, biking, swimming, really getting into the gym. I was always in the gym my whole life,
Had you
very
competed?
active. I did a triathlon. I did
Yeah.
a sprint triathlon, shorter distance.
Mm-hmm.
I did it in like 82 minutes. Swimming is not my cup of tea, but I still knocked it out of the park, and I did it with two of my best friends, so that was super cool. That was only last year, actually, so that was awesome. But I had been training for that after COVID,
Right.
and really taking my personal development and my sales business to the next level. So COVID was a defining moment for both of us, definitely.
Speaking of COVID, would you say that that wave that occurred after COVID of the prices rising and everything multiplying, did you guys ride that wave? How was that for you, and how would you compare that to now?
So for me, I just moved back to Orlando, and I got my first couple of deals back in the game when rates were low, right? So why did prices go up? Because rates went down, right? They
Yep.
flooded the economy with trillions of dollars.
Yep.
And prices rose. People started moving to Florida. Florida got found out. So all of
Got
my
discovered.
friends, all of my friends that I went to school with, they bought their first house from me, their first duplex from me, their first investment property from me, and that's what catapulted me into my production, where I
Smart.
didn't really need the team anymore. And I left that team after being back in Orlando for about a year. I joined a boutique firm, and at this point, rates were still between like 3 and 5%, and prices were relatively high, but it was still about the same as renting a place. So it was an easy conversation to have for people who want to have a forced savings account, right? Why home ownership?
Right.
It's the same thing as renting. If you're going to be in Orlando for a while, you want to rent it out in the future, you might as well buy. So the conversation was pretty natural. You're not like hard selling anyone on buying a house. It was a pretty practical decision to make. And I did like 14 transactions in the next 12 months. So, you know, on a higher split, making good income, back in my 6-figure type of cadence, right? And then I learned how to sell luxury.
Luxury homes, luxury.
Luxury is more of an experience than it is a price point.
Okay.
But the price point definitely has a lot to do with it, right? Like, it comes with the territory, knowing how to help people anticipate the adversity they're going to face with the rates, the conversation with showing a property, listing a luxury property, right? These are all things that I learned how to do at a boutique brokerage that I wasn't learning at the previous brokerage that I was at. And also marketing, knowing how to brand yourself, marketing yourself. A lot of the things that I think Jay learned naturally in his journey, I had to learn that on a team environment, because I'm very, you know, that's how my brain works. I need structure. I need to see someone else modeling that behavior at a super high level in order for me to implement it into my repertoire.
Would you say that this small boutique helped you build the foundation to get you to where you are today?
100%. We
Yeah.
weren't getting anything except knowledge from that team and maybe a good boutique brand. You know, the agent that I was working with, she had listed Shaquille O'Neal's house like the year before I joined her team. So she had a lot of clout and a lot of like popularity. She was also one of the top like voted social media agents in all of Orlando.
So that taught you a lot.
That taught me a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. That definitely helped a lot.
What's the cutoff that makes a home a luxury home? Is there a cutoff price?
Depends on the market.
Okay.
Depends on the market. In most markets, it's 1.6. Here in Miami, we're talking 3.5. You know, and some other markets, it's $1 million.
Right.
You know,
I
like
understand. Yeah,
so
yeah,
it
yeah.
really just depends on the market. You know, what
Got
does
it.
$1 million get you in Coral Gables here? A teardown.
But I would still consider Coral Gables a luxury market, even though it might not necessarily be like a luxury home. You still want to
Correct.
provide that luxury experience. But to your question, it all has to do with the market, right? Like the average price for a single family home in Palm Beach County is like $600,000, right? That's your average home. But if you want to get into a luxury home, now you're talking, you know, 1.2, 1.4. I got a luxury listing hitting the market today, 1.6. You know, really nice community. 2,000 square feet, you know, nothing crazy, but beautiful home, you know.
What's the market today? How would you describe it?
Volatile, very volatile, intense. But the market today rewards those who are prepared, right? So if you're a buyer today, you have more selection than you've had in the previous 3 to 5 years.
Okay. So you have
Because
more options.
from an inventory perspective.
Got it.
Right? During COVID, we were sitting on like 2 months
Very
of inventory.
limited, yeah.
Very limited inventory. And what I mean by inventory is if no new listings hit the market, zero listing activity, it would take 2 months for the buyers to buy up all the homes in that given market.
Right.
Today, we're sitting on like 4.5 months of inventory. So that's
Wow.
creating a lot more pressure on the seller side to be more competitive, to have those renovations done, and for the marketing to really be on point to demand that type of
Look at
showing
me,
activity
look at me.
that translates to
Yeah.
offers, right? So buyers today, even though rates are a little bit higher than what we're used to, it's still lower than the 40-year average, right? So some perspective there. So boomers today don't really have a problem with the rates as much as millennials do. But, you have a lot more options today. And especially with investment properties, there's a lot of good deals out there.
Would you guys suggest to someone that may be a millennial, that may be on the fence about buying, would you say buy now then refinance eventually? Would that be
I
your
kind of
advice?
hate that phrase, like
Do you?
date the rate, buy the house, marry the
Right.
house, date the
Yeah,
rate.
Yeah.
It's somewhat true, right? But it really has to do with your lifestyle, right? Like if you're a single man or woman with no obligations, right? No kids, no
Right.
family. Buying a single family home might be a good option for you, but I really preach investing, like buying a duplex, buying a 4-unit property, because you still get the same Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac mortgage products available to you as long as it's under 4 units.
And it gives you more.
It gives you more bang for your buck. And now you can mitigate your living expenses with that other unit that you have that's generating you income. And then by the time you move out, you're cash flowing 2 units, and now you have more to offer when you do find that partner, when you do want to start a family, when you do want to live that nicer lifestyle, or you could just buy another one, rinse and repeat. We're mortgage brokers, so we have that added level of, a whole nother dimension of advising, which is super powerful to our buyers.
So break down for me everything that you guys have under your arsenal. So you're an agent, you're a broker. Break it down for me. What are the tools that you guys have available to you to offer to other people?
So to the consumer,
Correct.
we are real estate brokers, right?
Okay.
We broker real estate transactions. If
Got
you're
it.
looking for an off-market deal, we can connect you with someone who can find you those off-market deals. We have off-market deals, right? But if you're looking for someone to represent you in the marketplace, we're your guys. Whether it's on the buy side or on the sell side, we will facilitate that transaction.
Got it.
If you need financing for that transaction, we can also provide the financing because it's all in-house.
Got it.
So we can broker the mortgage and facilitate the real estate transaction all in one streamlined experience. We're your main point of contact. So the old way was kind of like me with a realtor. He's going to defer to an agent or
Right.
a mortgage broker.
Right.
Now you're dealing with 2 different people. You don't have to do that anymore. You just deal with us, and we could get you a much better rate since we're doing both sides, right? We can incentivize the client more.
There's no middleman.
There's no middleman, and they're getting a better rate on the loan. And
Fuck
they're
them
also
wholesalers.
and they're also getting they're also getting a much better experience, a streamlined experience. So
Oh,
to the
man.
consumer, real estate brokers, mortgage brokers. To agents, we have an education platform now that we're teaching people how to create their own listing business, how to go after expired listings, and
Got it.
yeah, that's in a nutshell what we have to offer consumers and agents.
I think he covered it.
But yeah.
John, what do you think makes this work?
I mean, I think you can kind of tell just from already like the conversations that we have. I think it's 2 different sides of the coin. We're both very great speakers. We're both closers. We're both deal makers. But when it comes down to like logistics and like, the operation side of the thing, like that's all him. Like if we have any tech, it's Aaron. If we're doing any, asset sheets, Excels, platforms, softwares, integrations, like that's all him. When I don't update my phone because I don't want to learn the new phone update. Like I'm pen and paper. That's just how I am. I'm trying to get out of it. I'm slowly but surely getting there. I just learned calendar invites.
Okay.
So I'm sending them things out like hotcakes.
Good
You got a
job.
new
recently.
iPad?
Just
You
got an
a new
I got
iPad.
the
I see
iPad
that.
now,
Okay.
so like I'm moving in that direction. But
Upgrades.
I'm more vision, marketing, getting us in front of the right people, getting eyes on us while he takes care of all the back end things that even if I know what to do, I don't know how to do it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you
yeah.
could give me a to-do list and I won't know how to complete it.
So he's external VP, I'm internal VP.
Got it.
So to answer your question, I think that's why we work so well together because he's taking care of everything that I can't,
Right.
and then he's allowing me to take care of all the other things because it's where we're both best fit for this company to prosper.
We're leaning into our strengths, and that's a really good lesson because we're doing the same thing with our agents, right? Not everybody wants to produce business the same exact way that we do,
Right.
right? So we lean into their strengths.
Smart.
Yeah.
Who are your mentors? Aaron first.
So we have a coach. We do have a business coach. His name is Taylor Fouts, and we have a really good relationship. He's in the similar space that you're in, right? The coaching space. And he is less of a mentor, but more of a coach. And then whenever we have to have difficult conversations, you know, we're determining whether we want to take on a strategic partnership. We need new sheets for internal processing, new software. We use him as a soundboard.
Okay.
And then anytime that we're having conflicts or anything, if we can't work it out ourselves, we work it out on the call. But usually we're pretty good about working it out on ourselves as well. Other mentors, I would have to say Wesley. Wesley's she's a beast. She's our broker of Lux Properties, so she owns the brokerage. And the brokerage has been around for about 11 years. She has about 600 agents.
Wow.
And I just learned every year she cuts off the bottom 10%, people who are not producing. So it keeps that quality of agents strong.
Smart.
And our average volume, annual volume per agent is pretty high. We sell about $800 million a year in real estate with about 600 agents. So everybody's producing something. And every year she makes sure to integrate new softwares, new, you know, strategic partnerships, stuff like that to make our job easier and to make more of an impact in the marketplace. So I'd have to say our business coach and Wesley, our broker.
What about growing up? Who was your mentor growing up?
We learned the hard way.
Yeah.
We learned the hard way, man. I was constantly looking for leadership, like outside the home. I think Johnjon was too, because we didn't really have a strong, you know, Alan was a great stepfather for Johnjon. I'm not going to take that away from him. And, you know, I love my dad. We have a great relationship today, but, like, you know, we didn't always have a great relationship. There was a lot of dysfunction in the household, stuff that I won't really dive too deep into. But, you know, I was constantly, like, looking for my own way, a better way.
Yeah.
And
No pun
I think
intended.
we finally found it.
No pun intended. Shout out Jay.
Yeah, shout out Jay.
No, but he's absolutely right. I think the part where he mentioned that we were seeking leadership, right? Even though I had my stepdad, which I couldn't have asked for a better role model, right? On teaching me how to be a man. I just think that we were both hard-headed in a sense. Like I you know, I can't really make any excuses. I kind of had the role model there, but I was doing what I wanted to do anyway. And it's really just learning the hard way. As a kid, you think you know it all, and you know, it's always your way, and they don't understand. And all along, looking back, they did understand, and they were exactly right about everything. So we definitely learned the hard way. We could have made it easier on ourselves, but we chose the path of most resistance.
The path of most resistance. Yeah. So, but there's a lot of valuable lessons in there too, right? Like, instead of having a mentor show us the easier way or the path of least resistance, we learned a lot of valuable lessons that having a mentor would have maybe robbed us of, you know? And now we are the people that we needed when we were younger, to our agents, to our community, to anyone that comes and asks us a question about what software to use, what scripts to use. Like, we can help you accelerate that learning curve, because we don't want you to go through the same hard lessons that we learned on our own.
Yeah, I agree.
What role does God play in your lives?
I'll let Jay go first.
Huge roles, man. I mean, like I said, you know, we've known each other since diapers, and he's actually my god brother. So, you know, our parents, his mom was one of, like, the biggest influences in the religion space for me growing up. Maybe a little bit too much at sometimes. We love her. He can attest to that. But we grew up in church. Like, his mom was a fanatic. My mom is a fanatic. And I think growing up, once we got to a certain point of they're not taking us to church, you know, I can't speak for Aaron, but I stopped going to church once it was my decision to stop going to church.
Right.
And now, as an adult, I realize how important that part of my life was. Not only as just like a compass for your normal life, but like in everything. Like, since I've started going back, I started going back in December. It's been the best thing that's ever happened to me. I've realigned with, you know, what it is I feel like my purpose is here for, what my goals are moving forward. I've been able to make deeper and stronger connections, not only with the people that I do have already relationships with, but, you know, for the new relationships that I've made, and just being around those kind of people. It's like, you know, when you're a doctor, you know a lot of doctors. When you're doing bad things, you know a lot of people who do bad things.
Right.
And then I never really had that community in the Christian space, right? In the religious space. And now going to where I'm going to now, there's all these opportunities to get involved, whether it's I Love My City or, you know, all these different events that the church offers and they throw for you to give back to the community, or even the little crews, right? I attend 2 crews, which is like a volleyball crew. So, you know, we do Bible study for an hour, and then we'll play volleyball, or we'll get together on Saturdays. And it's just being around those kind of people who want to better themselves
That's
and
awesome.
who want, who want to know people of value and people who aren't just stuck in the Miami world, the Miami scene.
Yep.
So it's kind of like having a mentor, and it's kind of like hanging around people from the office, right? You want to be like those people in the office. It's the same, the same concept. And I have a mentor in the religious space. I have a mentor in the online space, right? I have a mentor in my real estate space. So every single space that I enter, I try to get, someone who's more mature in that space so that I can learn from them, right?
Did you go to a new church or the same church that you went to with your family in the past?
I actually started going to a new church. I had went to it before, but this church came highly recommended from a very important person in my life at the time. And we started going together to that church, and, that church changed my life. Like I was, and I had a lot of bad things going on.
You want to shout
after.
him
out? Yeah, shout out Vu. Shout out Vu, man. Vu, I love Vu. We got 4 services, 4 locations, Miami Gardens, City, Somi, and the Design District. I either early bird go 8:45 in Somi, or I do 6 p.m. at the City with all the young cats. It's very cool. 8:45 you get more families. 6 p.m. you get, more people like us. Great place to connect, meet like-minded people, who just want to be better. I love Vu. Vu changed my life for the better, and I'll forever be grateful to Vu for that.
That's beautiful. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. I actually got shout out what was it? VuCon that just happened. It's a conference they do. I got baptized again 14 years later.
Wow.
At VuCon. So big part
That's
of my
huge.
life right there.
Yeah. Good for you. Congrats.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
What about you, sir?
Yeah, so I mean, God obviously plays a big role. I couldn't get away from it with my mom being such a strong advocate, but I'm so glad that she did work so hard to make sure that it was ingrained.
Was it Catholic?
Christian.
Christian.
She grew up Catholic, but
Okay.
she converted to Christianity
Got
probably
it.
like right around the time I was born.
Okay.
And so Christian non-denominational. My parents got married at Calvary Chapel, Miami Beach.
Okay.
So shout out to Calvary Chapel. I still go to Calvary Chapel, Palm City, where I live in Martin County. And I like it because it's very literature-based teachings, right? You feel like you're in a class.
Got it.
Learning about the interpretation of the word, what the parable meant at this time, what adventures Paul was going on and the things that he was teaching to the other people. And, it's a beautiful way to really learn like your code of ethics, your morals, and what God wants to bless you with if you follow his teaching. So it's been a huge, huge game changer for me. I've always grown up in the church, but I don't think it's been till this last 12 months that I've really like been thirsty for it, because I know how quickly things can fall apart when you don't have something like that leading you. So he's my North Star, man.
Amen. It's probably, after hearing all this, the next question would probably be self-answered. But how do you guys deal with failure and rejection?
Failure and rejection. I think it's a natural byproduct of success. Like, I welcome failure and objection. I'm built for failure and objection. I welcome it. So I don't think we get better unless we have failure and rejection. I think failure is the most information-rich thing that you can experience, right? That's why we learned the hard way, and we're here today because we learned the hard way. Now, obviously, you don't want to beat your head against the wall, but
Right. Do you think God has anything to do with you having that attitude?
absolutely.
I think so.
Yeah, absolutely. But also from a business perspective too, like you can't expect to just launch a company and be super successful in your first 6 months or your first
do.
year.
Most
of
people do, which is why they
especially-
fail.
Especially in this instant gratification
Yeah.
economy, and we've been blessed that our first 90 days, like we sprinted to where we're at right now, but like nobody sees the 7-8
Oh,
years
man.
of tears and just struggle that
To have that
it took-
3-month sprint.
Exactly. So
Right.
it looks like an overnight, oh my God, these guys have 25 listings, 30 listings, whatever it is now. But we grinded to get here.
Yeah, people don't actually know we tried this before. Like we tried teaming up before, and he moved to Miami. This was back in when it was 5 years ago. I don't know what year that is. 2019.
4 years ago, yeah.
I was 21 at the time.
No, it's 5 years ago.
So 5 years
It
ago.
was 2019.
So
right?
we tried teaming up, and he moved to Miami, and it didn't go that well, right? So like, there's
What do you think went wrong? Why didn't it go well?
We didn't have God as our North Star.
Okay. That's a good answer.
There's a lot of things that went wrong, but we were misguided, and we were feeding into the bad habits that each other had versus
building each other up. Yeah.
correct. Yeah.
Do you think it was a maturity issue? Do you
A
think you
part of
guys
it.
had to grow a little bit to be able to redo this?
A part of it, and I think it goes back into like what you asked about failure, and like a lot of times we had to go through what we went through to be where we are today. And I like to think about life kind of like a game, right? Like
It's 100%
this
a
is
game. I agree.
right? Think
I
about
agree.
GTA, right? And if you want to build
GTA.
or 2K,
Simulation
right?
theory.
Yeah.
Or like 2K, right? Because in GTA, it's about getting as much money as possible so that you can get all these things that you want to accomplish.
Isn't
and
that life?
build-
Isn't that basically it?
exactly right? So and in 2K as a better example, right? You got to build all these attributes on the court.
Yes.
So if God wanted to build, this person of tremendous character and attrition and ambition and all these attributes, like, is that gonna happen to someone who has an easy life, or is that gonna happen to someone who has a difficult life and goes through failure and pain and all these things to build up those attributes of that character, right? So that's how I try to look at it, and right, God has just been cooking. He's been cooking,
100%.
And now the dish is almost ready, and we're about to pop out the oven, and but it took a lot of sacrifice and a lot of time and a lot of pain and a lot of lonely nights and tears to get here. It didn't happen overnight. A lot of people think that, but this almost didn't happen at all.
This almost didn't happen at all.
In many
it
cases.
was close to not happening
In many cases.
a few times, but yeah, adversity breeds greatness, man. So I welcome it.
Why do you guys think that a lot of people are lost and can't find their way?
I think a lot of it comes down to like what me and Aaron were saying, growing up, that lack of leadership, that lack of guidance. And I think a lot of it is also, like us coming from first generation families. Like when I went to college and I was with these kids that, their parents had their dorm lined up and their, university studies paid for and their dues, and, oh, you want to go to the club, here's $1,000. And like they knew that they had to take the SAT and the ACT and how important all these things were. And
Right.
like
They
setting
had
them
that
up
structure.
for success, right?
Yep.
Oh, if you want to be an athlete and get to this college, you need to do A, B, C, and D,
Right.
and don't let up here. Like,
And have the right coaches and whatever.
I wasn't given that, right? Like I always say now, if I had a son or if I had a daughter or whatever the case may be, like I know the path, right? I know
Yes.
what to do. I wish I would have gone to, one of those big schools like a UF or an FSU or a UCLA or Alabama,
Right.
like one of those big ones, and had that experience for myself. I had my own experience in its own way, but those experiences are the ones that live with you forever. And even
Yep.
though mine still
The
do,
American experience, right?
so
Quote unquote.
that I feel like was a big part. The lack of guidance and also the lack of us willing to accept the guidance that we were given. Because we could be somewhere else. We didn't take the guidance we were given. So how can we ask for more guidance when we're not even taking what we're receiving? Right? It goes back to, is God going to give me a bigger blessing when I fumbled the first one?
Right.
Right? If he couldn't trust me with the $200,000 I made, because I did a bunch of stupid things I wasn't supposed to be doing, how's he going to trust me with $2 million?
Right.
So it's, accepting and understanding and accepting that guidance and moving on it.
Aaron, how do we create more leaders?
How do we create more leaders? That's a good one. By being surrounded by winners, man. Like, we're going to this Valuetainment event next month, and
Shout out PBD.
shout out PBD, man. He is.
Shout out Nick.
Shout out Nick.
He's a shout out Nick.
Shout
bro.
He was
Nick.
supposed to be here today.
He
He's gonna be
was.
watching
He
this.
called me.
He told
He
me.
called
He
me.
called me
He
too. He
called me.
apologized, couldn't make it.
Yeah.
So weak men, I'm gonna go back to the how the old saying goes, hard times create strong men. Right now we're in the weak men create hard times are creating strong men right now. So I think if we take advantage of the opportunity that's given to us, right, if we all understand how the tax code is set up, how profitable it is to really start a business and not work for the man, you realize what opportunity you have in front of you and the type of character, the type of attributes you need to develop in order to be that business person. Because you could come from a different country. The border's been wide open for fucking 4 years and start a business and change your whole family tree. So why not take that opportunity that's given to you? For Americans, you were born with this opportunity, whether you went to college or not,
Right.
to start a business and to develop yourself into the person that can own a landscaping business, can own a mortgage company, can own a content create. It's never been easier to start a business, but it's also never been easier to sit back and do nothing. So I think that's where a lot of people get lost, because we have this device on our phones that we had less technology when we sent a man to the moon. But now we have TikTok and a bunch of distractions that are pulling people away from the life that they really desire, because they're selling it to you in a 60-second format. Like, oh, you can do this and get rich quick and not have to develop the character. But developing the character is like number one. So I think, how do you develop strong leaders is by developing your character. And I'm going to go back to training, whether it's going to the gym, running, being a triathlete, riding a bike, going for a walk. Like, it starts there.
That's definitely going to be a 60-second reel. I just want you to know that.
Cool.
It's definitely going to be, to your point about social media, that's going to be a reel.
No, and social media can be a really fun place to be. Like, I'm pretty careful with who I consume on my content.
For sure.
It's all part of your diet.
You want to contaminate your mind.
Exactly. You want to feed it. So
Yeah.
it can be an inspiring place. I follow the Tate brothers pretty consistently as well, because I just love how smart they are, how well communicated they are, and they teach people how to be strong men. The man is the leader of the household. I'm an old school traditional mindset type of guy when it comes to that. Like,
I agree.
We want the woman. A woman is probably the best thing that can happen to a man.
The right woman.
The right woman. The right
wrong
woman.
one
The wrong one.
is the worst thing that can happen to a man.
Exactly.
Yes,
So-
100%.
But you don't go out, find the right woman, and then build the business. I think you need to build the business first, build those attributes first.
The right
It's like
woman
building
will
a
find
garden.
you.
Women are butterflies. They're going to come to the garden if you build the right garden.
True, but I think it depends. I think
It always depends.
I think it depends. Because I found my wife before I had anything. We've been together for 18 years.
Congratulations.
Married for 8 years, 2 kids.
Amazing.
Awesome.
So like we found each other in I've known her since the 5th grade.
Amazing.
We've been together since we were
Fairy
18. 100%. Like high school
How it
sweethearts.
should be. That's
right?
how it should be.
But takes work.
Oh, yeah.
It's not easy.
Yep.
It takes work.
Every day.
It takes dedication, takes commitment. But both ways are doable. But I do understand your point of view, as in if you create the garden, the bee's gonna come,
Right.
right? You're trying to set a trap, right? Or like almost fetch them.
Yeah, because you could fake your way into a relationship, right? You're
sure.
meeting with everybody's like personal representative for the first 3 to 6 months anyways, right? So they're going to show
Exactly.
you their best before they show you everything else that they're capable of.
Oh yeah,
So-
for that mask comes off.
Right, 100%.
Right, and she farts in front of you for the first time.
It's over right there.
Yeah,
John,
women don't do that.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. John, what is your current view on the state of America?
Woo. Wow, you want to talk hot topics?
Yeah, I'm getting
Dropping
there.
bombs.
Oh, man.
I'm slowly
You wanna
creeping
get-
there.
You want to get me canceled. Leo wants to get me canceled. I think we are in shambles. I think we're in shambles. I think we need new leadership. I think what's happened the last 4 years have been a disgrace. I think that they've been toying with us with the puppet right in front of our face and planning this from all along, right? They waited just until long enough to not give us the Democratic elect, right? And
Yep.
just put her in place.
This bait and switch.
So, and it's been happening in front of us all along. I think we need, don't get me wrong, I think the other leader can be better, right? Trump can also be better.
Yeah.
But if we're talking lesser of two evils, if we're talking about, awake and asleep, I mean, it's an obvious choice, right? And I think that our country was at a great point. Everybody had money. Everybody was happy. Nobody was complaining when Trump was in office. I just haven't heard much from Biden fans these last 4 years, and I guess I could leave it at that without saying too much. I know Aaron's a little bit more political. I'd rather not get canceled online.
Which is why I asked you the question first.
I'd rather not get
I'm
canceled
coming
online.
to Aaron next because I know I feel it. I feel he's got a bomb to drop on this.
This is gonna be another. This is gonna be another 60-second reel here.
I'm about to disappear from social. If I go missing, you know why?
Let's hear it.
No, I mean, the country was founded on like Christian beliefs, bro. There's no secret that when we started the Constitution, these men believed in Jesus Christ. They believed in the Bible.
Yes.
Right? And we have gotten so far away from that. where it's affecting our kids, bro, our schools. The stuff that we're teaching in schools is just like, I would never put my kid in a public school if I had the money and the resources, but some people don't have the money and the resources.
Right, and they have no option.
Now they're being taken advantage of by the new system that has been created over the last 4 years that's teaching all this nonsense. And it's not fair to the kids. And that's really where I get my like passion from when it comes to politics, because you know, the business side of me is like, we live in the best country in the world.
Amen.
You know, we live in a capitalistic society where entrepreneurs solve our biggest problems. You want to go help a lot of people in a volatile real estate market, go get your license to sell real estate and go get your license to do mortgages. You can print money and help people in the process. Done. You know, there's no other country in the world where you could do that that easy and have such a low barrier to entry.
Without going to school.
Without going to a regular school. It's amazing. But on the other side, when it comes to society, it's like you got all these pronouns and all these like rules for specific classes of people.
Alphabet City.
And it's not cool. Like, I get it. If you want to identify as... I'm serious, though.
I agree with you.
If you want to identify as somebody, you're not going to control the pronouns I use. That is infringing on my freedom of speech. Literally. That's why Jordan Peterson popped off, because he was like, I'm okay with you guys, you know, identifying as a they, whatever, but like the moment that you force me to utter words that do not align with my character, that's a wrap. You know, I draw the line. And the same thing can be said for my kids, the language that they will be using. I don't have any kids, but you know, my family, like regardless of who's president, I plan on instilling the values that I want to see in my life, my heaven on earth, in my inner circle.
Agree.
And I'm not going to fear about getting canceled because I want to speak my truth, right? Now, everyone has their truth, and I think that's where the other side or other people say, hey, you know, this is my truth, but at the end of the day, there's a reason why we don't advertise, you know, pornography day or murder day, you know, but we have all these days for gay uncle day, transgender day, all this bullshit, in my opinion, that corrupts society. So politically, you know, we're in a very confused place. I think the country has imploded on itself these last 4 years, and we need Trump back in office.
So let's go a layer deeper.
Oh, shit.
Okay, let's go a layer deeper.
Leo, you're killing me here.
It's gonna go a layer deeper. Okay.
We just started this company, like. Tell me.
Why do you think that this agenda is being implemented? And do you think that we can ever get to a point to having just one truth? Instead of everyone having their own little fucking truths? Do you think America can get to a point where we get to one truth?
I think the truth, that's a really loaded question, because the truth is different for everyone, right? Like, your frame of how reality works in America, if you're a Muslim, if you're a homosexual, if you are a greedy capitalist with no religion, right? The way that you operate is totally different. But we can agree on it's bad to kill people. It's bad to steal. It's bad to lie. It's bad to, you know, blasphemy, right? Say things that are not true. So I think
we have more in common than we don't.
Exactly. We have more in common than we don't. We're all, you know, struggling in our own way. And if we can identify with each other, you know, human to human, like, hey, what are you struggling with? Is there anything that I can help you get to that next level just by my experiences? Because we all have valuable experiences. Nobody is more qualified to show people what it took to get to where you are than you. Right. Nobody is more uniquely qualified to help somebody who struggled with, you know, dysfunction in the household or bad leadership at home than people who struggled with leadership at home.
So why this agenda? Why recreate the Last Supper in the Olympics with a bunch of gay characters? Why do that?
There's no excuse for that. I mean, I think that was just like Christians have become too tolerant, I think, right? Christians have become too tolerant because you don't want to offend people and you want to be seen as like
inclusive,
the nice guy, inclusive.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there is a line. And, you know, if we become too tolerant, they disrespect us, and it could be the fall of Christianity. You know, like Christianity could become non-existent if we don't stand up for ourselves.
Do you think that's what they want?
Yes, absolutely. That's what Satan wants. And if you believe in God, Satan is having a field day right now. So I think that's absolutely what Satan wants. I don't know if that's what they want, whoever they is. But nobody else, no other religion is being disrespected to that level, and that's not cool. I don't know why, other than Satan having his way, I don't really see another reason for Christianity being put on the chopping block like that.
Do you guys, first of all, how big is your team?
6.
Team of 6 right now, right? Yeah.
Everybody.
We just onboarded two more agents.
Do you guys incorporate some sort of religious foundation within your organization? Meaning, like, do you guys have certain values and morals that you expect your team to have that is like a non-negotiable?
Yeah, so we definitely don't push politics or anything on the team.
No, I mean politics. I mean like standards, morals, and just basic human
personal development. We preach personal development, right?
And
we don't
code of ethics.
And a code of ethics. You're not allowed to have more than 2 drinks when you're out, networking, stuff like that. Like, we have a certain standard. But
Two's a lot.
We don't push. No more than 2. Oftentimes we don't even drink when we go to these events. But no, everyone on our team right now, we share the same philosophy, worldview. But we understand that there may be people who join the team who don't share that worldview. So we just really preach like personal development. If it's God, if it's the universe, if it's Allah, we're cool with that. We're not gonna, we're gonna be inclusive to a certain point. But we really preach personal development, because if we can grow this person's attributes, the business is going to take care of itself, right? And we can all celebrate together and, at the end of the year, just relish in our accomplishments. But no specific agenda that we're pushing other than personal development.
Right.
What are your values, your non-negotiables?
I mean, mine are all literally Christian based. I mean, really, I just try to be a good person. Like, I don't think it's that hard. And I think if everybody just made a conscious effort to be a good person, then the world would just be a better place, right? Like, don't go out of your way to do something bad or hurt somebody. Like, it's very easy to open the door for someone and say good morning and how you doing, and just treat people how you would want to be treated. Like, everyone is always like, oh, thank you so much for doing that. And I'm just like, I'm just doing what anyone would do, or at least I would hope anyone would do.
Yeah. And
I feel like it's gotten too normal to not be a good person nowadays.
To be selfish, right?
Right? Just selfish, greedy. Like, I'm there, I'm holding the door for 5 people, and 5 people walk out and nobody says thank you. And I'm just like, okay, well, not holding the door for you again. Like, it's very easy to be a good person. And I think we're just making it too hard, and we're adding in all these extras. And I think it just always goes back down to, the KISS acronym for me, right? Just keep it simple, stupid. Just be a good person, do the right thing, and, the good things will happen. That's really it.
What about you?
As far as core values, communication is a big one. Communication, respect, honesty, integrity, what you do when nobody's looking. I can't be in business with you if you're not honest, you don't have integrity, you don't have respect, you don't communicate well. If you're late, punctuality is a big one.
Yeah.
So there's a lot, but as far as core values on the team, I just think integrity and communication are 2 big ones.
I feel like all that goes into being a good person, right? If you're a good person, you got integrity, you got morals, you got those values that we're looking for, right? Those values that are taught in a religious setting, right? The Bible, basic instructions before leaving earth, It's very simple, man. It's very simple. I don't think it's that hard.
But it creeps up on you, right? Like saying a lie, and then you get used to lying. And lying is the most pervasive thing you can do in any setting, right? Like, now someone is living their reality based on something that's not true.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why Jordan Peterson says, like, the most adventurous thing you could do is tell the truth, even though when it's tough, right? It's that conversation you need to have that will get you to the other side and ultimately to a better place.
Do you guys want kids?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm ready right now. I'm ready for kids right now. If I had a kid right now, I'd be ready. I want 4.
4.
I want a big family.
Can you start with 1, please?
I'll start with 1, but hopefully I'll make my way to 4. If I get 2, I'll be all right.
We're going to have a little basketball team.
Can live with.
So
yeah.
I wanted 4.
You wanted 4.
Now I have 2, and I'm done. Finito.
How old are they?
I got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. 2 boys.
Beautiful.
2 boys.
Yes.
You don't want a girl?
No. No.
So what if you would have got
No.
2 girls? Would you have went for the boy?
That would have been what God gave me. Probably.
You would have went for the boy,
Probably.
right?
And
what,
Kept
you would've
going.
stuck with 3 girls?
Probably. I got 3 girls. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm scared of that because my father had 3 girls and then had me and my brother. So I can't stop at 3 because I know that the next one's
Right.
gotta be a boy, right? If I have 3.
Gotta be.
So no, I want a big family. I just know that like how important my siblings were growing up, right? Like not being alone. Aaron was one of those, one of those like growing moments
Distant
for me,
relatives kind
right?
of thing.
Like
Yeah.
he was one of those building blocks. Better, right? For
A brother from another mother.
yeah, and you need those building blocks, right? Like you
Yes.
can't be alone growing up, right? And then you realize me and my brother fought all the time growing up, right? Like we hated each other, right? So we might as well not even have had a relative, right? But as you get older and once we reached a certain age, we realized that we were the only people that we had.
Yes.
Like when anything goes wrong, like
You guys had each
I
other.
know I can call him and he'll do
Yes.
anything and everything for me, and like I don't have to second guess his loyalty. Like I know what team he's on.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And like that is so hard to find nowadays because
Yes.
like it's the people that you would never expect. Oh, he won't do that to me, and he won't do this, and he won't do that, and they do it, right?
Yes.
So at the end of the day, when it all comes down to it, that's the only people you have in this earth. And once your parents leave, like who else do you have, right? We're supposed to outlive our parents, but are we supposed to live alone in this world?
No.
Yeah, if we have a partner, well, what happens if that partner passes away, or we are not lucky enough to find that person early on?
Right.
You're all alone in this world, and
Got
that's
your
what I
siblings.
don't want for my kids. I want them to have someone, and 2's not enough. You need, if something happens, you need that 3rd one.
My wife would love this
Eligible
conversation.
bachelor over here.
Yes, seriously.
Hey,
What about you?
Definitely want kids, man. I'll take whatever God gives me. Want a big family. And to my point earlier, like it doesn't matter who the president is, what's going on in the world. Like you can instill the inner values that you want to see in your family and create that reality, that version of reality that you want for your family and your friends. So family's huge, man. And I don't have like the best relationship with all of my family members, but like he said, they're the ones that are there for you when shit hits
Yes.
the fan. And it's through those fights and those conflicts where you develop more character and you're like, you know what, next time I present that information or I disagree with somebody, like I could be more respectful about it. I could be more eloquent about it and more, respectful at the end of the day, just communication. But yeah, family's everything, man.
agreed.
Do you guys consider yourselves millennials or Gen Z?
He's a Gen Z. I'm a millennial.
You saw how fast he said that?
First of all, I don't even know the difference. I don't even know the difference. We're 2
He
years
just
apart.
called you out, bro.
What's the difference
Those
there?
2 years.
What's the difference?
It's funny though because
There's a
I'm
cutoff
the tech guy.
of when you were born.
It's a cutoff. So
Yeah.
we're probably in the same cutoff.
Let's define that. Millennials are defined as
1980
I think it's like
80
80
to
to
96
95.
or 95.
96.
Yeah.
To 96?
Yes.
Oh, I was 98.
yeah, $2 short.
You were 96,
95.
95.
Yeah. My birthday's in October.
So he might have got me. He might have got me there.
Yeah. Gen Z.
I don't know the difference. I'm just not a tech guy. I'm pen and paper, old school.
Which is good because if he was the stereotypical Gen Z guy, he wouldn't be the best fit for this relationship. But he's actually a little more of an old soul, just like I am, when it comes to everything. So
I don't even know how to answer that question because I don't know the difference.
It's okay. It's okay. Because I'm going somewhere else with this.
he might as well be a boomer.
That's not the worst thing I've heard. It's not bad to be a boomer.
I don't
No,
know what that
boomers
is.
They
are
got all
great.
the money. Boomers got all the money.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, boomers
So
got
I'm
all
a
the money.
boomer. I'm a boomer.
I want to know, what is the dating life like in 2024 for 2 young, successful men?
He would know better than me.
The dating life is tough, man. Miami's tough. It's hard to find someone with your same values, right? I think it goes back to what we were talking about, that
Yeah.
we want to instill in our household, no matter what's going on in the world. Like I know what I'm looking for. I know how I want to raise my kids, and finding someone that holds those same morals and values and wants that to be their upbringing is the real issue, right?
Yes.
It's very easy to find a pretty girl out on the street.
For sure.
Now, does she fit my values? Does she fit, the morals that I want her to instill in my family? Can I take her home to my mother? Because maybe she might have those values and, all these things now, but who was she in the past, right? So that also plays, a part in all your decision making when it comes to finding that partner that you want to spend the rest of your life with. So
basically, like trying to find someone maybe in church versus Tinder.
I mean,
That's an extreme example, but
it's very extreme. But I think that's a better place to find someone than
sure.
Tinder, for sure.
the best
Because you're
place.
going to have those values,
Right.
that you're looking for
Right.
versus
So
a bar or Tinder.
Either that or like a wellness event. Like I started going to wellness events now. Like I've been trying to find other activities to do in Miami other than go out at night, go drinking,
Right.
go doing something that really is not moving the needle forward for you in the direction you want to go in your life in any way possible, right? It's there for a good time. It's there for a fun time, but there's a good time every night in Miami. And it's like when you have somewhere you want to go, you very fine pick, right? Who are you going to invest your time in, right? So if I know off the rip that this is not where I see myself going, I'm not even going to take you on a date because my time is too valuable. My energy is too valuable. I can't sit there and pretend like I want to get to know you for 2 hours and all that stuff. So in that sense, finding someone that fits what I'm looking for in Miami is very hard.
So let's put it out there. What are you looking for? Let's put it out there. Maybe she'll see this and find you, John.
Maybe she'll see this and find me. Someone who goes to church is like the top thing on the list for me, right? Someone who goes to church that I can go to church with, that we can take the family to church to. Someone who's a family woman, right? Someone who, honors their mother and father. Someone who has a good relationship with them. Preferably someone who's educated. Doesn't really have to be college educated, but just that it's educated, right? It's, you don't look at them and you're
smart, intelligent.
Exactly, right? Can hold a conversation. I know that I can, be in a room and leave her there, and she's not just there sitting in a corner. She's holding her own in whatever conversation or whatever circle she's in. Someone who I can learn from, right? I feel like a lot of people think that you're not supposed to learn from the woman or, vice versa since you're the man. But I think that we've all lived, right? Like if I find a 25-year-old, you've had 25 years of different experience than me. So if you can't teach me anything, then there's something wrong there, right? So someone that I can learn something from, someone who's gonna push me to grow, right? Someone who believes in me and as ambitious as I am, either for herself or for the family. And
driven.
The last thing for me on that list would pretty much be someone that I know that if anything were to happen to me, if God forbid, that she can take care of the family, right? So everyone's like, oh, the man is the breadwinner and this and that. And yes, and I intend to be the breadwinner and I intend to, take care of her and the family. But I need to know that in this game of life, that she is also capable of collecting those coins and, meeting those people to, uplift the family in hard times if I'm not around.
She
right?
won't starve.
If something were ever happen to me and now my kids, got to lose the house and can't have the life I always wanted for them and can't go to the college, and I didn't do my job in picking the right partner.
Right.
Right. And anything can happen. Oh, and get insurance and how far is $1 million going to take you, with a family of 4 in today's,
couple
era,
years,
let alone 10 years from now when this actually comes to fruition. So someone who can hold their own in this game of life, for sure. And
That's very well said. I hope you find her.
She's out there somewhere. She's out there somewhere.
I'm guessing you have someone.
No, I don't.
Okay.
So single and not really looking either. But to answer your question as far as what is dating like in today's day and age, I'm not in Miami. I'm sure in Miami it's a lot more transactional, right? Like if you don't meet their expectation of who you are, what you bring to the table, pay for the first date,
Right.
They're quick off to the next one because there's so much money and opportunity in Miami.
So many options, let's be real.
Exactly,
Yeah.
so many options. So I don't necessarily blame Miami for sharing that sentiment. But I do believe that there's a lot of good girls out there, and we don't give girls enough credit for, investing in themselves, the lifestyle that they have to live, the temptations that they deal with the OnlyFans and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of temptation that creeps in that could steal the values that we're looking for in a woman away from her and automatically disqualify her from that list that he just mentioned.
I was going to say that. Is that a no-no? OnlyFans?
No,
Big
definitely.
no-no?
Oh, that's a no-no.
Huge no-no.
It goes back to the past, right? Like I can't, and nothing on the internet goes away.
Even if she's making bread tons of money makes no difference.
She doesn't respect herself.
It's worse.
How am I gonna
if she's making a bunch of bread, it's worse. It's honestly worse.
No, if you don't respect yourself, how am I gonna respect you? And then goes to the point like, how are our kids gonna respect you, right? 'Cause
Right.
You wanna look up to your mother, right? You don't wanna be that child, right? That it's like I love my mother, I love her so much, but in terms of accolades and accomplishments, there was nothing for me to look up to. The only thing that I had to look up to was really my stepfather, and that was really just like showing me how to be a man. But in terms of accolades and all that stuff either, he was just a 9-to-5 county employee, which again goes back to like what we were saying. We didn't have that guidance and that mentor to say, don't get a 9-to-5, go the entrepreneur route. Like it took us a couple years to get there. So I think it all goes back to that, to be honest.
3 years ago, on my son's 2nd birthday, we invited a few of his classmates to come. We did a little pool party, right? We later go to find out that the mom of one of the boys is a porn star. And she is like all over Pornhub. And she's pretty comfortable about it, you know? It's like, that's really who I am, you know? And she has video after video after video of her doing everything you can imagine.
How do you know?
Because I went to go look. Because I went to go look. I couldn't find that information out and not go look. I had to go see if it was true.
He's like, I gotta make sure this is the one.
I gotta make sure that this is really it.
Most popular.
like lining up the phone.
Yes. So I thought that was really interesting. And she just had a 2nd baby, and it's a girl. So I'm just thinking these kids, right, like 10, 15 years from now, your mom's entire body and every body part is all over the internet. Their friends are going to Google search her and find her and go show it to you. How's that going to make you feel?
You're going to have a traumatic childhood. You're going to have a traumatic life.
No, I will say, so we don't get canceled, it's never too late for anyone to come to Jesus. Right, like
100%.
You can absolutely,
amen.
You know, come to Jesus. That's your past life.
Amen.
You die to your old self. That's
God
amazing.
will forgive you.
I am not going to marry you, but you can spend eternity in heaven if you accept Him into your heart. So, absolutely, I'm just not going to marry anyone who's done anything like that.
Preach.
Amen.
No, I agree. It's never too late.
John, what would you say is your superpower?
I feel like just connecting with people, man. I feel like once I get in front of someone, I have that personality where I could talk to a wall for 30 minutes, and I've been saying that since high school. And I don't know if it's my energy or my aura or something, but I just have a way of connecting with people that once I get in front of their face, like it's game over. And I've always done well at networking events. I've always done well in sales. I was selling Pokemon cards and candy when I was in elementary school. Like I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit. And to be an entrepreneur, you got to be outgoing.
My son would love you. He loves Pokemon.
You got to, I mean, that was when I was a kid. I don't know any of the things now, but I've always had that entrepreneur spirit. I've always been super outgoing. And I feel like that's my best attribute because once I'm myself, and that's what I've realized, I think we try to get in these circles and be someone else.
Authenticity.
But once you're actually yourself, I've never had a problem making a connection with someone. If anything, I've had problems making a connection with someone where I'm like, oh, I need to like do this or do that or meet this person and like be this way. And then that's when like that genuine connection doesn't happen and you get overlooked. But when I'm just there, relaxing, not worrying, just being honest and being myself, like there's not a connection in the world that I can't make.
What about you, sir? What's your superpower?
My superpower is definitely my ambition. I think when I meet people, they can definitely see that I see the target on the wall and that I'm like going for something. And if they're going for something too, and there's something that we can collaborate on, like buying a house, buying an investment property, etc., they know that I see the target on the wall very clearly.
You're a visionary.
Yes, visionary, and also like I get shit done. That is my love language. I want to keep moving the needle forward. I work way too much, but I love it. Like that's what I enjoy spending my time doing for the most part, you know, and I have hobbies. I go mountain biking. I'm pretty active, all of that stuff. But when people meet me and they start to learn more about me, what's important to me, it's building the machine, you know, building this business and creating heaven on earth, you know, and I have that target on the wall that I want to see come to life.
With that, paint me your dream life. What does that look like? Are you there?
We're living it.
I'm not. I'm not living it. I'm living the
Paint me
dream.
your dream life, John. What does that look
I'm
like?
living the dream, but I feel like to say if, I get what he's saying.
Yeah, me too.
But-
Yeah, I'm not where I want to be, but I know that today I'm living my dream. Like, we're building a business up at a pretty fast pace, implementing the systems.
Are you living
Yes.
a dream or the dream?
I'm living the dream.
You're living the dream.
We're
Okay.
living the dream that we've always talked about doing, right? With the things we've always talked about putting in place, working together, taking over this market, starting a team,
Got it.
brokerage, all these different things that we're implementing into the company. We're living that dream, right? Like, I'm living a dream. If you would have told me 5 years ago that this is where I would be, I would have shook your hand and took that bet any day of the week, right? Because
We knew it was coming.
I've always known I was going to be successful. I didn't know what I was going to do, what I was going to sell, whatever it was.
Right.
I knew I was going to be successful. So are we living our dream? We're living out our dream right now. But when we're talking about dream life, right? I
Yeah.
don't have my family. I don't have my wife. I'm not as well versed in my religion as I like to be. I haven't traveled and seen the world as much as I would like to. So my dream life would be, an occupation that I've always said would be like maybe a motivational speaker where I'm traveling the world, speaking on these stages, letting people know my testimony, where I came from, where I was supposed to be, where I ended up at. And even if it's not that, it's really just managing a bunch of different companies, a bunch of different industries, right? Overseeing everything, not really working too much.
Right.
I'm not the biggest fan of working too much. But just being able to travel with my family, with my kids, with my wife, and see the world and make money while I'm doing it. It's really my dream.
That's beautiful. Where do you guys want your company to be in 5 years?
On a public stock exchange. No,
that could be a nice goal.
No, private.
no,
private
no.
company.
It's definitely gonna stay private. So I'm the one that had the vision to make this a reality. I've actually had it in my Google Drive with all my projects and everything for over a year before we actually even launched anything, right? So the brand is the company. We are the company. Now the real estate team is the company exclusive. We had our network event. That'll probably be under the company network, right? Where we are building our own community of in-house realtors, right?
Right.
So to put it in an example for you, most brokerages like to keep things in-house. Lux Properties, Keller Williams.
Makes sense.
Right?
Lower costs, right?
Keep things in-house. Like, let's say I'm representing a seller and someone in this company has the buyer. Hey, let's keep both sides of the transaction in-house, right?
Makes sense,
So
right.
I can call anyone in my brokerage and say, hey, I'm with Lux Properties too. Let's work this deal together. Where do we have to be? Where do we have to meet? Right? And they can help guide you as best as possible with still keeping their fiduciary duty to their client.
Got
right?
it.
Now, we're creating an in-house network, right? So just how I explained, what you do in Lux Properties, you're not going to do that with an agent in Keller Williams because you don't know anybody, or Compass or Coldwell or any of these big name brands, any
Right.
other brokerage at all. Now, the network that we're creating, we have agents from every single company you can imagine. So
Wow.
if I don't know that agent, I can call the agent in our network. Hey, buddy, I know you're with Compass. Can you talk to, so-and-so? Do you know this person?
Right.
Oh, yeah, let me put you guys. Hey, Leo, this is my guy, Aaron. Give him the best, and then you
Hook 'em
keep
up.
things in brokerage, right? In community.
Got it.
So that's one of the visions that we have
Academy.
for launching our community, which is going to feed into every single other part, right? Our education side of the company academy, which now we have the community. The community is going to be outreaching for, advice on this and help on that. So we have the education platform where we have our coaches and we have our courses, our mentorships, our network where we charge a monthly subscription for to hop on weekly calls with us. So it's a bunch of different layers for the company, right? So education, real estate. We're partnering up with some exciting news to open up our own office. So
Nice.
we're doing that. We want the company mortgages, the company title, the company, anything and everything you
Investments.
can imagine. The investment firm that we're starting hopefully before the end of this year, in the next 90 days. The company concierge, where, if you need any kind of concierge service in regards to helping you get into the nicest hotels that are maybe booked out, or the restaurants that are all booked that you can't get access to, like Carbone, for example, you got to book 3-4 months out.
Right.
We have those relationships to get you, that nice car while you're in town and the yacht, and just make it a fully all-inclusive experience with the company, right? And make the real estate transaction replicable. So meaning whether they work with me or they work with Aaron, they're getting the same type of service from the company. So when you ask who's selling your house, the company's selling my house. Who's doing your mortgages? The company.
Right.
The company's taking care of me. We take care of everything. We're all in one white glove service, luxury experience for someone who needs these kind of services in our area.
And it started with us getting our mortgage license when we realized, wow, we can offer so much more value. I'd say less than 10%, less than 5% of all real estate agents know anything about financing, nor do they have their mortgage license. Or I'd say it's probably less than 5%. And when we started realizing, wow, we can provide a fully integrated, seamless experience on this, what else can we do that with? Right? And then that's where everything else started to unfold. Like, wow, we could do the academy. We could teach new agents how to get to 5 million, 10 million, right? We could keep all the deal flow in our network, right? It's kind of like having our own brokerage without having our own brokerage.
Right.
Having an exclusive network. He has a ton of relationships in Miami for world-class restaurants, new developments, right? These are things that you only get being born and raised in Miami, right? And, we're both Florida natives. Like, we have business from Tampa, Orlando, Palm Beach, Miami. So we're really focusing on the higher-end primary markets, but more importantly, to keep everything in-house so that we can provide a consistent and streamlined experience.
Guys, where can people find you? Where can they reach out to you? What's your IG,
Yeah,
YouTube,
we're active on all the
website?
socials. I'm on LinkedIn. Pretty active. Instagram, Aaron Abbadie. It's my first and last name. LinkedIn, Facebook. You can find me on all the major platforms. And YouTube is Aaron Sells Florida.
How about you, John?
I mainly just do Instagram. I'm an Instagram guy. I am on YouTube, but across any and all platforms, you can find me, Johnjon Gonzalez. I don't know if I'm probably the only Johnjon, so JOHNJON. You type that in your Google search bar, and everything will come up for you right there.
I'm going to do now some quick rapid-fire questions.
Cool.
To get to know you guys a little bit more.
Okay.
And then we'll close out with
No-
the
no
last
more
final
political
question.
stuff.
No more. We're
No
done.
cancel questions,
We're
please.
past that. All right, John, I'll start with you. What is your favorite book?
Oof, I'm gonna have to go with the Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, because
Okay.
that was the last one that I read in middle school.
Wow, John.
I'm not gonna sit here and lie to the camera, man. I don't read books. The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn was the last one I read.
You know what?
in,
I appreciate your honesty.
I think it was Miss Patterson's class, and yeah. That's
Shout
it.
out Ms. Patterson.
What about you, Aaron?
So the last book I read was Your Next 5 Moves by Patrick Bet-David.
I've read that one
I will
also.
say that is my recent favorite.
Okay. What is your favorite movie?
The one that comes to mind is oh man, I can't remember it now.
Who's it with?
I forgot the actor's name. I'm gonna have to. I mean, if we're talking business, it's definitely Wolf of Wall Street. There is another one that it just always comes to mind when I think favorite movies. I can't remember it now.
No worries.
But
What
Wolf
about
of
you,
Wall
sir?
Street for sure.
Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. You guys love that movie.
Leonardo's just a phenomenal actor. I think
He
he's
is.
a savant. He's one of the best actors that I've ever been able to, watch and grow in his career. So Wolf of Wall Street was just the one that did it for me, because it shows you the rise, but it also shows you the fall.
Yes.
When you put yourself in front of the needs of the business and your constituents.
Yeah.
Favorite food?
Steak.
Steak, Mediterranean food, Arabic food.
Gotta pick one.
They all have steak. But yeah, I would say Middle Eastern food.
Okay, going back to your roots.
Yeah.
Favorite car?
Porsche.
That was fast. Jeez.
I want my next one's probably a Lambo. I want a Lambo. I've been wanting it for a long time. It's time I take that one off the to-do list and just do
Okay.
it.
Which one?
Evo.
Okay, Huracan. Favorite song?
Oh, what was it? Swedish House Mafia. Don't
That's
You
a
Worry,
good one.
Child.
Don't
That's
You
probably
Worry,
my
Child.
favorite
That's
one.
a good one. That's a
When
really
it all
good
comes
one.
down to it, I think that one calms me down.
Okay. What about you?
Yeah, Lord Knows by Drake.
Okay.
Okay.
Favorite place to visit?
Europe.
What country? Give me one.
France was cool. Favorite place to visit in Europe? I haven't been there yet.
Okay. Which is what though?
Monaco, probably.
Monaco,
But
okay.
again, I can't substitute a belief for an experience. But the favorite place my favorite place to go spend time in Europe, I know I haven't been there yet.
What about your favorite place just to go, period, that you've gone to before that's currently right now? Favorite place to go?
The Breakers.
What is that?
It's a resort in Palm Beach. We're actually going there tomorrow for a meeting.
Got it.
Yeah.
Not my favorite place. Definitely a nice place, but we're talking about favorite plates.
Favorite place to visit?
Man, I've had so much fun in all my vacations, man. I don't think it'd be like a favorite place. It'd kind of be like a favorite kind of destination.
Okay.
Tropical, somewhere on the beach.
Okay.
Where you can lay back. I've done Tulum was probably my favorite vacation, but it was a big group of people, all friends, all going out, having a good time.
Right.
Everyone on the same energy.
Casa de Campo was lit. I went there for a wedding a few weeks ago. We're definitely going to have to invest
Where
over
is
there.
that? Mexico?
Is in DR. Dominican Republic. It's
Okay.
like an all-inclusive resort on the island. So it's like, it feels like American because it's all-inclusive, but there's no rules, right? So you can have fun and it's a resort. So you get your little golf cart. Everybody that stays there gets their own personal golf cart.
That's awesome.
So it was awesome. Yeah, definitely one of my favorite trips.
Favorite hobby?
Mountain biking.
It's difficult. I don't really have too many hobbies, man. I really work a lot. I took up pickleball recently.
Okay.
Before that, my hobby was like happy hour. So I don't drink too much these days. So
Yeah, I got a new
more
mountain bike.
gym.
Got a new mountain bike recently, 29-inch Santa Cruz, full suspension. And I like going with my dad, keeping him active. You know, he's like 61, 62 years old. So it's definitely something that he got me into at an early age. I didn't really enjoy it as much until I started taking it seriously. Now I'm like, yo, get me out on those trails, man, 2 or 3 times a week.
He's fully immersed in that.
I'm
Where do
going
you
like
go? In Orlando?
So Jonathan Dickinson State Park, which is in Hope Sound in Martin County. And then we just got back from Ocala, riding some trails out there in Ocala Santos. We did like 16 miles last week. And then my average mile per ride is like 8 to 10 miles, 8 miles.
I got a mountain bike too. I'm dying to go on a trail down here, but there's not much down here.
Let's go. Jonathan Dickinson is a close one. There's
Where is
another
that?
one.
How far is that?
There's one here in Markham, Broward County, Markham Park.
Okay.
Yeah, we go there. I have the annual pass. We can go whenever.
Let's plan it. That's dope. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Bring your helmet.
Let's do it. I will. Favorite sports team?
Yankees.
Heat.
Okay. Favorite drink? Alcoholic or non-alcoholic? Doesn't matter.
Like a good mojito.
We're talking about non-alcoholic pina colada. We're talking about like alcoholic, probably tequila soda, tequila Sprite.
Blanco. Reposado.
Yeah,
Repo. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely Red Bull.
probably like a mojito if you want to mix it.
All right. The next question I want to answer from each of you. And this is a question to a struggling entrepreneur or a struggling realtor, someone who wants to be where you are right now, but is struggling, doesn't know what to do. He or she is overwhelmed, stressed, you know, that phase of
Right.
confusion, doubt, fear. What is your one tip or your one nugget to this person to help them in their path, in their journey?
Number one is get a mentor. Number one is find someone who has what you want, who is where you want to be, so that you can get to that place, so that you have some type of guidance, right? You don't get in the car and start driving and you have no destination. You got to figure out your destination, figure out someone who's been there. In the car's case, it's the GPS, right? And then get you there. But without knowing that, you're going to be lost. That could have saved me 4 years of going to college versus diving straight into this business, and I'd be, you know, where I'm going to be at when I'm 30 now, right? I would have had those 4 years. That's number one. And number two is don't give up. I know you asked for one, but number two is just as important as number one, because every single entrepreneur has struggled. There was nights where I had $80,000 in commissions pending, and then that $80,000 went to like $3,000. Every single deal fell through, and I was behind on bills. My credit cards were maxed out. I'm sitting in my condo that I'm overly I'm overpaying for that, you know what I mean? And then it comes those nights like, what am I doing? What have I done? What did I do? Am I good enough? Like, and you're just having those talks by yourself, to yourself. And like, I've been there. Like, I've been there. There's, you know, I have dreams and goals so big that I still feel like that sometimes. I still feel like, do I know what I'm doing? Am I doing the right thing? Is this what God wants me to do? So you're going to have those nights, and then you just got to get around people who have had those and overcome them, and, you know, are telling you what I'm telling you right now. Just surround yourself with those people telling you it's going to be okay and that you're going to do it. And then at the end of the day, you got to do it, because no one's going to do it for you, right? But as long as you do what you need to do, you don't quit, and you have someone guiding you, should be successful in any field.
What about you?
For a struggling real estate entrepreneur, definitely join our free school community. That's where we're gonna have all
What
of
a
the,
smart man. What a plug.
I mean,
Good
it's
for
the
you.
truth, right?
Yeah,
We don't get into real estate.
No
to make,
shame, man. No shame. I love it.
We don't get into real estate to make $50,000, $100,000 a year. If that's good for you, then that's great. You can still join the community and learn something. But we have a course that will literally take you there from A through Z, how to take you to $5 million plus, generating your own business so you don't have to rely on your brokerage, internet leads, or any other type of outside marketing to be successful. And in that community, you're also going to get access to 2 amazing mentors and a community full of people who are excited to sell real estate in our beautiful South Florida economy. So definitely join the group, find a mentor, and surround yourself with winners, because you might have the right destination in the GPS, but you want to make sure you're in the right vehicle too.
It's not about the journey.
It's
It's about the company. See what I did there?
Shameless fucking plug. I love it. I love it. That was perfect. Seriously, that was perfect.
That was awesome, man.
That was
Great
awesome.
questions, dude.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I really appreciate you taking your time, dedicating whatever, 2-3 hours coming up here and spending the time with me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Pleasure was
We
ours. This was
appreciate
great.
you having us on, man.
Whenever
Thank
we
you.
go to deck out the office, we're going to hit you up for inspo.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Please.
We're going to go check some out tomorrow, so you'll be hearing it from us soon.
Let's get it.
All right.
I would love to help.
You're the man, bro.
My guy.
Thank you,
for
man.
this.
Appreciate you
Appreciate
guys.
you, brother.
Guys, if you're in real estate and you are not following Johnjon and Aaron, you're doing something wrong. Go get their course. Go follow them. Go make sure that you are listening to everything they're doing and you're imitating, because these guys are going places. And if you want to go there, you got to follow them, all right? Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and we'll see you guys next time.